The silence of space was absolute, broken only by the soft hum of the exploration vessel Odyssey. Its sleek hull glided through the void, a small speck in the vast darkness between stars. Commander Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her sharp eyes scanning the holographic displays. This mission was unlike any other. Earth had sent her team into uncharted territory, a sector of the galaxy known only from distant signals, an area whispered about in galactic archives as the hollow expanse. Reports suggested that an alien species known as the Veyrath hunted there. They were creatures of legend, massive, fast, intelligent predators whose claws could tear through starship hulls and whose eyes could paralyze prey with fear. No civilization had survived a full encounter with them. Entire fleets had vanished, without a trace. Most humans avoided the sector entirely, but Ilara was not most humans. She tapped the console, bringing up the scanned images of a Veyrath's territory. Even the holograms made her pulse quicken. The creatures were terrifying, with scales that shimmered like molten metal and talons long enough to pierce armored plating. Yet beneath their raw savagery, Ilara noticed patterns others had ignored. The way they moved, how they avoided unnecessary conflict, how they hunted in silent coordination. It suggested intelligence, discipline, buried under ferocity. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Rin Sol, frowned at her. "Commander, we don't know what they'll do. Maybe we shouldn't." Ilara turned sharply, her brown eyes steady. "Rin, if we never try, we will never know. Knowledge is useless if fear keeps it locked away. We need to study them. Up close, carefully. But we cannot retreat." The ship's sensors picked up a massive energy spike. On the monitors, a shadow flickered against the black backdrop of space. It moved with terrifying speed. A Veyrath, the alpha of the sector, had detected their presence. The bridge went silent. "They're here," Rin whispered, voice tight. Alara's hand hovered over the communication console. She had a plan. Not a simple attack or retreat. Humans had always relied on strategy and intelligence, not sheer force, to survive impossible odds. If the legends were true, no ship could fight a Veyrath directly. But perhaps, just perhaps, a different approach could succeed. "Activate the observation drones," she ordered. "We'll watch, learn, and remember, we do not provoke unless necessary." The drones shot out of the Odyssey like silver arrows, moving toward the Veyrath's position. The Alpha loomed larger on the monitors, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. It was enormous, bigger than any predator Ilara had ever seen, and it was watching them. Then, something strange happened. Instead of attacking, the creature circled slowly, observing. Its movements were deliberate, almost curious. Ilara felt a shiver. Most humans would have panicked. Most would have fired weapons immediately. But she stayed calm. "It's studying us," she murmured. "It's not attacking yet." The hours passed. The Alpha's eyes never left the drones never left the Odyssey. It was a game of patience, a silent dialogue of gazes. Ilara noted each flicker, each movement. Then she spoke aloud, as if the creature could hear her. "You are not just a monster," she said softly. "You are something more. Strong, intelligent, but lonely in this endless void." Her words felt foolish, yet she could not stop. In the quiet of space, her voice was a tether, a bridge between human and predator. And then, as if acknowledging her presence, the Alpha tilted its massive head, a gesture that was almost contemplative. Rin shot her a worried glance. "Commander, are you talking to it?" Ilara nodded. "Yes. And it is listening." It was a gamble. No one had ever spoken to a Veyrath. No one had survived if they tried. But Ilara had noticed one thing about humans that aliens often underestimated: our ability to connect, to reason, to show respect even in danger. She believed it might reach even this creature. Suddenly, alarms blared. A massive spike in energy. Readings erupted near the Veyrath's territory. Another predator approached, drawn to the Alpha. The Odyssey trembled as the alien hunters neared, their size dwarfing the drones. "Shields up!" Rin shouted, fear in his voice. Ilara held up a hand. "No, not yet. Watch first." The second Veyrath circled the Alpha, aggressive, snarling. The Alpha responded not with attack but with a signal, movements precise and commanding. The newcomer hesitated, then aligned itself beside the Alpha. Coordination, strategy, discipline. Ilara had been right. These were not mindless beasts. They followed leadership. They respected power and intelligence. This is incredible," Rin breathed. Ilara smiled faintly. "We just need the right approach." Minutes later, the Alpha approached one of the drones large enough to interact with it directly. Ilara guided the drone carefully, keeping it just out of harm's way. She extended a visual signal, a pattern she had devised from studying the Veyrath's movements. The Alpha paused. Then, slowly, deliberately, it touched the drone with its massive claw, gently, almost playfully. The bridge erupted with astonishment. It's not attacking," Rin exclaimed. "No," Ilara said softly, eyes fixed on the screen. "It's testing us, understanding us." Days passed as they observed and communicated in small, careful ways. Ilara developed signals, movements, even tonal sounds the Veyrath seemed to respond to. She realized that dominance alone was not the key. Respect, patience, and understanding were the true methods. Then the moment came that no one had expected. The Alpha stepped directly toward the Odyssey. The ship shuddered. Alarms blared. But instead of attacking, the creature hovered, near the hull, observing, waiting. Ilara took a deep breath. This was the ultimate test. She activated the remote guidance systems and extended her command patterns, careful not to provoke aggression. "Karath," she whispered, naming the Alpha after the ancient word for leader of storms. "Follow my lead. Trust me." Time seemed to slow. Every eye on the bridge watched as the massive predator paused, then moved. It followed the pattern exactly. Not as a slave, not as a captive, but as a willing ally. Rin gasped. It obeyed." Ilara kept her focus. "Not obeyed," she corrected softly. "It chose. It trusts us." The team erupted with excitement, but Ilara knew the danger was far from over. Other predators were out there. Other fleets would come. The galaxy had never seen a human tame a Veyrath. Some would see this as a miracle. Others would see it as a threat that could not be ignored. But Ilara also knew something else. Humans were underestimated. Across the stars, creatures and civilizations assumed humans were weak, impulsive, and fragile. Yet here she was, standing face to face with the deadliest predator in the galaxy, not with weapons, but with courage, patience, and strategy. And it had worked. As night fell over the holographic projections of alien worlds, Ilara looked at Karath's massive form floating outside the ship. The predator was calm, almost regal, its glowing eyes fixed on the Odyssey as if acknowledging a new partnership. "This is only the beginning," she whispered to herself. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but for the first time humans had a chance to rise not by firepower alone, but by their unique strength, ingenuity, courage, and the ability to connect where others could not. The story of Ilara and Karath was just beginning, and when it spread across the stars, every civilization would take notice. For now, in the quiet of space, a human and a predator had formed an unthinkable bond, a bond that would one day lead to Earth's mightiest fleet. And deep in the shadows of the hollow expanse, unseen predators watched, curious, calculating. Something new had entered their world, and it would change everything. The Odyssey returned to Earth orbit after weeks in the hollow expanse. Reports of the Veyrath Alpha, now named Karath, had already begun to stir debate across human colonies. Some leaders called Ilara a genius, while others whispered that she had invited danger by taming a creature no one had ever controlled. Alara did not care. Her mind was focused on one thing: strengthening the bond with Karath. She had learned that the Alpha did not respond to orders, threats, or weapons. It responded to respect, patience, and intelligence. The others in her crew were slowly learning, too, though some remained wary. "Commander, Karath seems restless," Lieutenant Riensel reported as he monitored the massive creature's movements in the docking bay. "He's pacing. It's like he's thinking." Alara smiled faintly. "Good. That means he's observing. We are not just a shelter. We are his partners. We must act accordingly." Karath towered in the docking bay, his scales glimmering under the artificial lights. He moved with a grace that was almost elegant for a creature so massive and fearsome. Crew members kept a cautious distance, but none could deny the intelligence in his glowing eyes. Every step he took seemed deliberate, and every glance seemed to calculate more than any machine could. Alara approached slowly, her hands raised to show calm intentions. "Karath," she said softly, "we are safe. You are safe. Trust me." The Predator paused, tilting his massive head as though acknowledging her words. Then slowly he settled on the reinforced floor of the docking bay, exhaling a soft, low rumble. The sound resonated in the chamber, vibrating through the metal walls. The crew shivered, not from fear, but from awe. "You see," Alara told Rin, "he is not a weapon. He is a being who can understand, who can choose. That is what makes him dangerous to others, and powerful with us." Learning to communicate, the following weeks were filled with careful training, not the kind humans usually imagined. There were no chains, no cages, no threats. Instead, Alara developed a series of signals, gestures, and tonal sounds. Karath responded to patterns rather than words, learning to follow instructions through observation and repetition. The first breakthrough came when Alara demonstrated a simple task: guiding Karath to interact with the simulation of an enemy attack. She moved small drones in formation, and Karath mirrored her motions with astonishing accuracy. "He's copying you?" Rin asked, disbelief in his voice. Alara nodded. "Not copying, learning, strategizing. Humans can teach, but they can also inspire understanding. That's why Karath follows me. He recognizes leadership." The crew began to experiment. Engineers constructed mock combat scenarios, combining human ships and simulated enemy fleets. Karath learned quickly, adapting to patterns and even suggesting new tactics with subtle movements and gestures. It was as if he could anticipate the next step before it happened. One evening, after a long day of training, Alara watched Karath rest. Despite his terrifying size and strength, he seemed calm, almost peaceful. She realized that the bond between them was not just about control or obedience. It was trust. "Karath," she whispered, "together, we can do more than fight. We can show the galaxy what humans can do." The Predator's low rumble echoed, almost like agreement. The political storm news of Karath's training reached Earth's Council within days. Some leaders saw an opportunity, an unstoppable weapon to secure humanity's dominance. Others feared it, warning that no human could fully control such a creature, and that the consequences could be catastrophic. Alara faced meetings filled with tension. Diplomats and generals debated endlessly, their voices rising in concern. "You cannot risk a Veyrath," one counselor argued. "They are unpredictable. They are not human. They will turn on us the first time we make a mistake." Alara leaned forward, eyes steady. "Karath has chosen to trust us. That is more than obedience. That is partnership. If we approach this with respect and strategy, the galaxy will see that humans are capable of things others cannot imagine." Some council members still doubted, but Alara's words had weight. She had seen the bond firsthand, and she knew the truth. Karath was not a weapon. They were a team, a combination of intelligence, strength, and strategy unlike anything the galaxy had ever encountered. Despite political arguments, Preparations continued. The Odyssey returned to the hollow expanse, this time not as explorers but as pioneers of a new human strategy, alliance with a species no one else had dared to approach. First field test. The first real test came sooner than expected. Sensors detected a rogue alien fleet entering the sector, a scouting group from a neighboring empire that had once destroyed colonies in the hollow expanse. They were far larger, more technologically advanced, and expected humans to flee. Alara stood on the bridge, her eyes locked on Karath's position in the docking bay. "It's time," she said. "Show them what humans can do." Karath exhaled, a low growl of anticipation. The ship's engines roared to life as they approached the enemy fleet. Instead of charging blindly, Alara coordinated a complex maneuver. Using both human ships and Karath's instincts, they created a trap. The Veyrath Alpha moved first, leaping into formation above the enemy fleet. The sight alone, an enormous predator among human ships, stunned the alien commanders. They had never seen such a thing. Fear rippled through their lines, causing hesitation. "Now," Alara commanded. Karath struck with precision, disabling several of the alien ships without unnecessary destruction. His movements were swift, intelligent, and coordinated with the human pilots. It was the first time a Veyrath had ever fought alongside humans, and the result was extraordinary. The alien scouts retreated, stunned and overwhelmed. Earth had won the encounter not through numbers, not through superior technology, but through human creativity and alliance with the Predator. The crew cheered, but Alara remained focused. "This is only the beginning," she reminded them. "We have shown them humans are clever, not just brave. But the galaxy is watching. Bigger fleets will come. Strength and unity." Over the next weeks, training intensified. Karath began coordinating multiple Veyrath who had gathered near the hollow expanse. Through Alara's guidance, the Predators learned formations, defensive strategies, and even basic communication cues that humans could understand. The bond was no longer just between Alara and Karath. It extended to the other Predators. Humans worked alongside them, sharing strategies and learning instincts they never thought they could understand. For the first time, Earth had a chance to harness the galaxy's most feared creatures. Not as slaves, but as partners. Alara often watched the interactions quietly. It was more than strategy. It was proof of something humans had always believed, that courage, intelligence, and empathy could achieve the impossible. Karath was massive, terrifying, and deadly, but he had chosen humans because of respect and trust. That choice mattered more than any weapon or technology. One night, Alara stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Karath rested beside the ship, massive claws folded beneath him, eyes half closed in calm vigilance. "Do you know what the galaxy thinks of us?" Rin asked softly. Alara shook her head. "They think we are weak, fragile, ordinary, but they will learn eventually that humans are more than that. Karath is proof. This bond, it is proof." Rin nodded slowly, understanding dawning. "And if the others see what we've done, they won't underestimate us again." Alara smiled. "Exactly. They will fear us, but not for our power, for our ingenuity, for our will to rise." A new chapter begins. Word spread across human colonies. A human had tamed a Veyrath. At first, disbelief and skepticism reigned. Then came the first reports of Karath fighting alongside human ships, showing coordination, strategy, and loyalty. Other civilizations watched closely, realizing that humans had achieved something they had thought impossible. But Alara knew that the true challenges were yet to come. The galaxy would not remain silent. Rival empires would move, testing this new alliance. Earth would be forced to defend not just its colonies, but the very proof that humans were capable of feats others could not imagine. And yet, in the calm of the hollow expanse, Alara felt a quiet confidence. With Karath by her side, she did not fear what was ahead. The Predator had chosen humans, and humans would rise. For now, the bond was solid. Trust had been earned. Intelligence had been respected. And together, human and Veyrath were preparing for the galaxy to witness the first true partnership between species, one that would change the course of history forever. The galaxy was watching, and it had no idea what was coming. The calm of the hollow expanse ended the moment the sensors blared. "Commander!" Lieutenant Rinsol shouted, pointing to the screen. "Incoming fleet. Hostile. Multiple ships, heavier than ours. They know about Karath." Ilara's eyes narrowed. She had expected this day. The galaxy did not like surprises, and humans taming a Veyrath Alpha was a shock no alien empire could ignore. "Alert all decks," she ordered. "Prepare for combat, but remember, we fight smart, not just hard." Karath moved beside the Odyssey, massive claws scraping the reinforced floor of the docking bay. His glowing eyes scanned the monitors, as if he understood the incoming threat. Unlike other creatures, Karath did not panic. He was waiting, calculating. The alien fleet approached with frightening speed, their triangular warships glinting under distant stars. They were more numerous than the human fleet, but numbers were not the only advantage Ilara relied upon. Humans had ingenuity, and Karath had instincts that no computer could replicate. "Deploy the drones," Ilara commanded. "Form a perimeter. Karath, with me." The Veyrath Alpha leaped into the void, immense claws and wings stretching as he soared above the fleet. Behind him, a dozen smaller predators, drawn by Karath's presence, followed. They moved in formation, synchronized with precision, something the aliens had never imagined possible. "Commander," Rin said, his voice tense, They're watching us like we're some kind of pack." Ilara smiled faintly. "Exactly, and we are a pack. Only humans would think like this, combining instinct and strategy." The first clash, the alien fleet fired first, beams of energy slicing through the darkness. Most ships dodged, guided by the humans' unpredictable maneuvers. Karath dove through the void, his claws tearing through several enemy ships without unnecessary destruction. He did not kill indiscriminately. He targeted weapon systems, disabling the fleet's ability to strike accurately. "Focus fire," Ilara shouted. "Strike only when necessary. Use their confusion against them." The predators moved as a single unit, blocking escape routes, cutting communication lines, and guiding human ships into positions where the aliens could not predict their next move. Each strike was precise, efficient, and terrifying in its effectiveness. The aliens had never faced a creature, or a human, who could combine raw power with careful planning. Karath's presence alone unnerved their captains, and the humans' coordination made their larger numbers meaningless. "Commander," Rin said, awe in his voice, "they're following Karath's lead." Ilara nodded. "Not following, coordinating. Together, we are stronger than they imagined." A dangerous maneuver as the battle continued. Ilara noticed a pattern. The alien fleet, though powerful, relied on repetition. Their attacks were predictable if someone could think like them, but also anticipate the predator's movements. Ilara began a bold plan. She would use Karath as a decoy to draw the fleet into a trap. "Karath, follow me," she murmured. The Alpha tilted his massive head, understanding immediately. The predators surged forward, drawing enemy fire while human ships flanked from behind. Alien commanders were caught off guard, unable to adapt to a strategy that combined instinct, intelligence, and raw strength. Beams of energy that should have destroyed the humans instead struck empty space or harmless drones. "Now!" Ilara shouted. The human fleet, guided by Karath and the smaller Veyrath, attacked from unexpected angles. The aliens were overwhelmed, their formations breaking, their confidence shattered. The first victory within hours, the alien fleet retreated. Humans had won the battle not through firepower alone, but through creativity, teamwork, and understanding the predators. Karath returned to the Odyssey, landing with a ground-shaking thud that rattled the crew's bones. "You did it," Rin said, wide-eyed. "You actually did it. We won." Ilara did not smile immediately. She watched the empty space where the alien ships had vanished. "We won this battle," she said calmly. But the war is just beginning. They will return, and next time, they will bring more ships. Karath exhaled, a low rumble vibrating through the docking bay. Ilara reached out, placing a hand on his shimmering scales. They will not succeed, she whispered. Not while we understand each other. Not while humans think differently than anyone else in the galaxy. The crew gathered around, awe and fear mixed with excitement. For the first time, humans had demonstrated that a predator could be more than a weapon. It could be a commander, a leader, and a partner. Strengthening the fleet after the battle, Ilara and her crew began intensive training with the Veyrath. The Alpha taught the smaller predators in ways humans could barely follow, showing them formations, coordinated attacks, and defensive maneuvers. Ilara realized that Karath was not just helping humans, he was training the predators themselves, turning them into disciplined allies. The Odyssey became a center of innovation. Humans learned from predators and predators learned from humans. Together they developed tactics that no alien could predict. Kyrath's instincts complemented human intelligence, creating a force unlike any the galaxy had seen. We are building something new, Ilara said to her crew. Not just a fleet, not just a weapon, a team of beings who trust each other, who understand each other. That is what will make us strong. Rin nodded. And the galaxy will notice. They won't underestimate us again. Ilara's eyes reflected the distant stars. Let them underestimate us now. By the time they learn, it will be too late. A shadow looms. While humans celebrated, the galaxy's empires began to react. Reports of Karath's partnership spread quickly, reaching alien leaders who had long dismissed humans as insignificant. Some laughed at the idea. A predator following a human? Impossible. Others, however, feared it. A council of alien commanders convened in the dark corridors of a distant station. The humans are not what we thought, one said. They have taken the deadliest predator in the galaxy and made it their ally. They will rise, another said, and when they do, no empire will stand against them. We must prepare a fleet larger than any before to crush them before they grow stronger. Back on the Odyssey, Ilara sensed the change before anyone else. They will come, she said quietly. And we must be ready. Karath is our advantage, but even he cannot fight an entire galaxy alone. Karath responded with a low, steady rumble. The Alpha seemed to understand. Humans had allies in the galaxy, but they also had enemies. The true war was about to begin. The human Edge Ilara gathered her crew in the strategy room. Holograms displayed enemy positions, potential attack, routes and simulations of future battles. Listen carefully, she said. The galaxy expects humans to act like others, predictably, aggressively, or blindly. They do not expect creativity. They do not expect trust. They do not expect intelligence paired with instinct. That is our edge. The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. Karath stood at the center of the room, massive and imposing yet calm. He was more than a weapon. He was proof that humans could achieve the impossible through courage, strategy, and understanding. Prepare the fleet, Ilara continued. We will train harder, move faster, and strike smarter. The galaxy thinks we are weak. Let them see what humans are really capable of. Rin glanced at the Alpha. And Karath, Ilara smiled faintly. He is not ours. He is ours only in partnership. But together, we will be unstoppable. The calm before the storm. The hollow expanse, once quiet and dangerous, now felt alive with potential. Karath and the Veyrath. Packs trained alongside human ships, learning formations, defensive maneuvers, and synchronized attacks. The humans themselves adapted, using instincts, intuition, and creative thinking to complement the predators. Ilara often stood in the observation deck at night staring at the stars. Karath rested nearby, eyes glowing softly watching the humans. She thought of the galaxy beyond, filled with empires, fleets, and predators who assumed they understood strength, They will learn, she whispered. They will see that humans are not just fighters. We are thinkers, we are leaders, and we are capable of things no one else can imagine. And deep in the hollow expanse, alien fleets began to gather, sensing a growing power. They did not yet understand the bond between human and Veyrath, and they would soon pay for underestimating it. Alara's calm resolve matched Karath's steady presence. The first battle had been won, but the war was just beginning. And when the galaxy finally faced the full force of human ingenuity paired with the deadliest predators, it would remember this day. The age of humans rising through trust, courage, and intelligence had begun. The calm confidence of humans and Veyrath in the hollow expanse was about to be tested. Intelligence reports had confirmed what Alara feared. Rival alien empires were preparing a massive assault. Thousands of warships would descend on Earth's territories, and their goal was clear: to destroy humans before they could rise as a galactic power. Alara stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her gaze firm as the holographic maps displayed the enemy fleet approaching. Karath hovered nearby, his massive wings brushing against the reinforced ceiling. The Alpha's eyes glowed, as if sensing the danger before any human could. "We are outnumbered," Lieutenant Rinsol said, tension in his voice. "They have more ships, more firepower. How can we possibly win?" Alara shook her head. "We do not fight like they expect. We fight smart. We fight differently. And we have Karath." The predators around the hollow expanse stirred. Smaller Veyrath packs had joined Karath, moving with discipline and coordination. They were no longer wild hunters. They were a fleet in themselves, ready to follow a leader. And Karath's leader was Alara, though he had never been commanded. Only trusted. A fractured alliance back on Earth, political tension began to rise. Some council members feared Karath's growing influence. They did not see the bond as trust. They saw it as a threat. A faction of military leaders demanded control over Karath, arguing that humans should not depend on an alien predator. "Is not ours to command," Alara argued in the council chamber. "He is our partner, and if we force him, he will turn on us. Trust is the only thing keeping him aligned with humanity." Some leaders scoffed. "You risk everything on a creature that could destroy us in a heartbeat. Are you willing to gamble Earth's survival on obedience?" Alara's eyes hardened. "Not obedience, respect, partnership. The galaxy underestimates humans. That is our advantage. Karath knows it. The other predators know it. And soon, the enemy will know it too." Despite her words, whispers of dissent spread. A group within the council secretly planned to seize Karath if war came. Alara suspected betrayal, but she could not act until the threat became real. The enemy approaches. The alien fleet appeared on sensors like a storm at the edge of the galaxy. Thousands of ships moved in unison, forming massive triangles and diamond shapes that dwarfed anything humans had built. Their weapons glowed ominously, and every signal showed precision and coordination. Alara turned to Karath. "It's time," she said. "We either show them the strength of partnership, or we die trying." Karath exhaled a low, resonant rumble. He rose from the docking bay, leading the smaller packs. The predators followed without hesitation, their movements disciplined and purposeful. Humans and predators moved as one, a combination of instinct and strategy that no enemy could predict. Rin watched in awe. "It's incredible. They actually follow him like a fleet." Alara nodded. "Not follow. Work together. That is the difference." The first clash of the super fleet. The battle began with energy beams cutting through the void. Aliens fired, first expecting human chaos and panic. Instead, they met precision. Human ships twisted and moved unpredictably, guided by Karath's instincts and Alara's commands. The smaller predators darted among the alien ships, tearing through engines and disabling weapons systems with surgical accuracy. Karath led the charge, massive and terrifying, but never reckless. He struck only where necessary, creating openings for human ships to exploit. The aliens, confident in their superior numbers, began to falter. Their formations broke as humans and Veyrath coordinated attacks that no machine could predict. Ilara's voice rang through the bridge. Use their own tactics against them. Trap them where they cannot escape. The Predators and human fleet moved in perfect synchronization, creating illusions of larger numbers, striking in unexpected directions, and using Karath as a decoy to draw the enemy into ambushes. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Betrayal. Within, as the battle raged, an unexpected threat emerged, not from the aliens, but from humans. The faction within the Council attempted to seize Karath using boarding ships. They believed controlling him would ensure humanity's victory. Karath sensed the betrayal instantly. He roared, a sound so powerful it shook the Odyssey and echoed across the battle zone. The boarding ships were thrown back, damaged by the sheer force of his movement. Karath, Ilara shouted, running to the command deck. They are not enemies. Trust me. The Alpha hesitated, his glowing eyes scanning the humans who had betrayed him. In that moment, Ilara stepped forward, calm and resolute. She did not threaten, she did not order. She offered respect. Karath, she said softly, they made a mistake. You are free to choose. You do not have to fight them. You are our partner, not our tool. The Alpha's massive head tilted. Slowly he exhaled, rumbling with approval. He had chosen humans again, not because of fear, but because of trust. The bond between human and predator was stronger than deception. The rogue human ships retreated, humiliated and damaged. Karath returned to Ilara's side, his loyalty clear. The turning point with the betrayal resolved, the focus returned to the alien fleet. They had regrouped, determined to overwhelm humans with sheer numbers. But Ilara had learned something. In the past battles, aliens expected humans to fight like machines. They did not expect creativity, unpredictability, or trust between species. Using Karath as the centerpiece of her strategy, Ilara orchestrated a daring maneuver. The human fleet split into smaller groups, each guided by a Veyrath Alpha. They created decoys, baited the enemy into narrow passages, and used the Predator's speed and strength to strike at critical points. Karath led the main pack in a stunning display of precision. The massive Predator swooped between alien ships, dismantling engines and disabling weapons without unnecessary destruction. Human ships followed the gaps he created, striking where the enemy was weakest. It was chaos, but controlled chaos. A storm of strategy, instinct, and trust. A hard-won victory hours later, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their ships were damaged, their formations broken, and their confidence shattered. Humans had won again, not through superior firepower, but through imagination, partnership, and leadership. Karath landed on the bridge deck, massive claws leaving deep impressions in the reinforced floor. His glowing eyes scanned the crew, settling on Ilara. We did it, Rin said, still catching his breath. They actually retreated. Ilara nodded, calm, but determined. We won the battle. Not because we are stronger, not because we have Karath, but because we think differently. Humans are underestimated everywhere, and that is why we survive. And why we win. The Alpha exhaled, a low, approving rumble. The Predators around the Odyssey mirrored his calm strength, their movements disciplined and precise. Lazenbjorn, the Council on Earth, received the news of the victory with mixed reactions. Some celebrated, praising Ilara's genius. Others remained fearful, still suspicious of Karath's power and influence. Ilara addressed them in a broadcast to all Council members and fleets. Karath is not a weapon. He is our partner. And together, humans and Veyrath are stronger than any fleet, more adaptable than any machine. This is not the end of our struggle. It is only the beginning. And the galaxy must learn that humans are not to be underestimated. Her words spread across colonies and fleets, inspiring awe, fear, and respect. Karath's presence, once terrifying, had become a symbol of the strength humans could achieve through intelligence, trust, and courage. The calm before the next storm. As the dust settled, Alara and Karath stood together at the observation deck looking out at the stars. Smaller Veyrath packs patrolled nearby, disciplined and alert. Human ships repaired and resupplied, ready for whatever the galaxy might send next. Rin spoke softly. "Commander, the galaxy will not wait long. They will send more, bigger fleets, stronger enemies. How can we survive?" Alara placed a hand on Karath's shimmering scales. "We survive because we do not act like everyone else. We survive because humans think, adapt, and trust. Karath trusts us, and the others will follow his lead. The galaxy has never seen anything like this." The Alpha exhaled a low, resonant rumble, his glowing eyes reflecting the distant stars. He had chosen humanity, not as masters, but as equals. That choice would be their greatest weapon. The coming battles would be harder. Betrayal, danger, and enormous fleets awaited. But for the first time, humans had a strategy no enemy could fully predict. A bond between species built on respect, intelligence, and courage. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Now it was learning its first lesson, Alara's. Voice was quiet but firm. "Prepare the fleet. Strengthen the Veyrath. The galaxy is about to see what humans can do when they rise together." And deep in the hollow expanse, the stars themselves seemed to whisper a warning to every empire watching. Humans were no longer ordinary. They were a force that could tame the deadliest predators, lead them, and change the course of history. Earth's fleet, guided by Commander Alara Voss and led by Karath, the Alpha Veyrath, prepared for the final confrontation. For weeks, scouts and spies had reported the arrival of the unified alien Armada, a massive force that dwarfed any fleet humans had ever faced. Thousands of warships moved with military precision, their combined might intended to crush humanity once and for all. But humans were no longer ordinary. They had learned, adapted, and bonded with predators no one else had ever tamed. The hollow expanse was alive with creatures of raw power, moving in formations that mirrored human strategy. Alara stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her calm presence a counterbalance to the tension that filled the room. Karath hovered nearby, his wings spread, his glowing eyes fixed on the distant Armada. The Alpha's presence alone sent a clear message. Earth was no longer weak. "Prepare the formations," Alara ordered. "We fight differently than they expect. They will see strength in ways no one has imagined." The first strike, the alien fleet opened fire, beams of energy cutting through the void. Humans dodged, twisted, and maneuvered unpredictably. Karath led the Veyrath packs in an aerial assault, their massive claws dismantling weapons and engines with terrifying efficiency. The enemy had anticipated a straightforward human defense. Instead, they faced chaos, but a controlled, intelligent chaos. Human ships struck where the Veyrath created openings. Predators moved as guided by instinct, and Karath coordinated attacks with precision no machine could match. Rinsol watched, astonished. "It's incredible. They are attacking as one, ships and predators, together." Alara nodded. "This is what humans can do when they think differently. Creativity, strategy, and trust. These are our weapons, not just firepower." The turning point hours into the battle, the alien commanders realized that sheer numbers were useless. Their ships were scattered, damaged, and their formations broken. They had never faced an enemy that combined raw power with human ingenuity. Alara seized the moment. She activated a daring maneuver, splitting the human fleet into smaller groups, while Karath and his Alpha Pack served as the central strike force. Using decoys, they lured the enemy into narrow corridors of space where their size became a disadvantage. The predators moved with unmatched speed, tearing through critical points, while human pilots struck from angles the aliens had never anticipated. Karath roared, a sound that echoed across the battlefield, inspiring both humans and Veyrath to greater action. "This is it," Alara said. "Show them what humans and Karath together can do." The battle intensifies. The fight raged across light years of space. Beams clashed with claws and explosions lit the darkness like supernovae. Human ingenuity and predator instinct formed a symphony of destruction and precision. Every move had purpose. Every strike counted. Aliens attempted to regroup, but they could not match the combination of unpredictability and coordination. Karath guided the smaller Veyrath packs, creating a network of attack points no fleet could anticipate. Human ships moved with fluidity, striking openings created by the predators. The enemy underestimated humans once. They underestimated Karath. And now, they faced consequences they could not recover from. Unity against betrayal, even amidst victory. Elara remained cautious. She remembered the Council's attempted betrayal from before. Trust could be broken if mismanaged, and Karath's loyalty, though strong, relied on respect. Remember, she told her crew, we are not controlling them. We are partners. Any forceful action could break the bond and cost us everything. Predators responded instinctively, protecting human ships and striking only at true threats. Karath's massive form led charges, shielded weaker vessels and struck enemies where they were weakest. For the first time, humans had more than allies. They had a fleet of beasts. And those beasts trusted them. The enemy crumbles by the end of the battle. The unified alien armada was broken. Ships retreated in confusion, unable to anticipate the coordinated strikes that humans and Veyrath had executed. Alien commanders had underestimated humans for the last time. Elara's voice came over the comms to the fleet. Hold your positions. The enemy is retreating. Stand ready for any counterattack. And remember, this victory is not just about strength. It is about trust, intelligence, and partnership. Never forget that. The crew cheered. Karath roared, his call resonating across the fleet as smaller Veyrath mirrored the sound. Humans and predators alike felt a unity they had never known. Before victory, but not without cost. The victory was monumental, but not without sacrifice. Several ships had been damaged, some predators were wounded, and the toll of battle weighed heavily on all. Elara walked among the crew and Karath, acknowledging their efforts. We survived because we adapted, she said softly. We survived because humans think differently. And we survived because Karath trusted us and we trusted him. The Alpha exhaled a low rumble, nuzzling her gently, a sign of respect and acknowledgement. This was no longer a creature they had tamed. This was a leader, an equal, and a partner in humanity's rise. Rin watched, awe in his eyes. Commander, the galaxy will never underestimate us again. Elara smiled faintly. Let them learn slowly. By the time they truly understand, it will be too late. The legacy begins as the fleet returned to Earth. Reports of the battle spread faster than any transmission had before. Humans had done what no one else believed possible, tamed the deadliest predator in the galaxy, and led it to victory. Alien civilizations took notice. Some were fearful, some respectful, and some secretly envied the humans' ability to bond with such power. Earth was no longer an insignificant planet. It was a force to be reckoned with. Elara and Karath stood together at the observation deck, overlooking the stars. Smaller Veyrath packs patrolled alongside human ships, their loyalty unwavering. Humans had not only survived, they had risen. Commander, Rin said, voice quiet. What now? Elara looked at Karath, then at the stars. Now, she said, we lead. Not just in battle, but in vision. Humans are underestimated everywhere, but we have proven that with courage, intelligence, and trust, we can achieve what no one else can. The galaxy will remember this day forever. Karath exhaled a low, resonant rumble in agreement. His massive form reflected the star's light, a symbol of strength and unity. Together, human and Veyrath had changed the galaxy. A new era of respect. The aftermath of the battle marked the beginning of a new era. Humans became leaders of a fleet unlike any other, guided not only by technology and strategy, but by a unique bond with the galaxy's deadliest predators. Elara's leadership, Karath's guidance, and the crew's courage set an example for all species. Strength was not just in weapons or numbers, it was in creativity, respect, and partnership. The galaxy whispered of humans differently now. They were no longer weak, insignificant, or predictable. They were innovators, leaders, and survivors. And wherever humans and Veyrath traveled together, others took note, knowing that an unstoppable force had been born. Alara placed a hand on Karath's massive claw. "We did it," she said softly, "not as master and servant, not as human and predator, but as partners." Karath's glowing eyes seemed to nod. Together, they had achieved the impossible. Together, they had led Earth's mightiest fleet. And together they had shown the galaxy that humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how deadly. The final word, the stars stretched endlessly beyond the observation deck. Each one was a potential threat, a distant empire, or a future ally. But for the first time in history, humans could face the galaxy with confidence. They had tamed the deadliest predator, forged an unbreakable bond, and led a fleet that no enemy could ignore. And in that vast silence, Alara whispered one final truth. The galaxy thought we were ordinary, but humans are never ordinary. Karath rumbled in agreement. The universe had learned a new truth that day. Strength comes not from fear, but from trust, intelligence, and the courage to rise above what others expect. Earth's mightiest fleet, led by a human commander and her predator ally, sailed boldly into the stars, ready for whatever challenges awaited. The age of humans had truly begun.